Hello and welcome to another edition of For the Record. I'm Sean Murphy. My guest today is Lynn Hall. She is a returning guest to the show. She's president of Boulder Dash Race, and it's time for another race. There's lots of interesting events coming up. First of all, welcome back to the show.
Thank you very much.
So last time you were on the show, the race we were talking about was basically a benefit for Misquamicut Beach, and it was a time after Superstorm Sandy really had wreaked havoc on the beach. And you know, when we were talking about the organization that was going to come on with that race, really at that point all the details weren't necessarily finalized yet. You were still waiting to see like if there would actually be a beach available, for lack of a better term. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, that was tough.
Yeah.
Basically, we had been approached from the Westerly Chamber about doing the race and benefiting them, and it was just a day-by-day progression. We actually got there 5 days before the race to set up, and they were bulldozing the entire beach.
Well, no kidding, huh?
Yeah,
They were literally rebuilding dunes and like scraping the beach or whatever it is they have to do. So, no kidding.
And we liked that because they rebuilt the dunes and then we used them to climb over.
That's great. Yeah, you use them as your own part of your own race, right?
Yep.
So for those that may not know, what a Boulder Dash race, you may be familiar with it, maybe not. So describe what it is.
Basically, what it is an obstacle course race. So it's a 5K. So during that, it's off-road. So it's right this year. It's going to be again at Yago in September, and in May it was on the beach. And along that 5K route, you're hitting obstacles. And we're more about the obstacles than we are about the route itself or the running itself.
So it doesn't matter where it's at. It's about the obstacles that you put in there.
Yes.
Right.
And some are man-made, and some are, you know, like the dunes.
Right.
They're just there for us.
Right, and particularly the last one that you did, that you were on the show for, the Misquamicut Beach one, it wasn't necessarily about, you know, getting the fastest time, winning. You know, it's about going your own pace, and it was a charity event, so it was for a good cause. So it wasn't about trying. I mean, I know there were some people there that took it very seriously, and they were there to win.
Yes.
I mean, because we talked about one of your trainers or the people that, you know, you're friends with. I mean, he trained people for the race, and he does for these other races too.
Yes.
But talk about this, how serious some people take it.
There are people that this is what they do.
This is their life,
you know,
right?
This is what they're doing. We actually just partnered up with a brand new facility in Warwick that trains specifically for obstacle course races. That's what they're doing. As a matter of fact, they're talking about American Ninja now, training people to do that. So I mean, this is definitely the new thing.
That's hardcore right there.
Yeah. So there's some really hardcore people doing it. We have in September we have right around 100 people in our elite heat that are going for time. That's what they're there for. This is what they do, and they do it for time.
But at the same time, there are also people who just want to compete for the sake of seeing if they can do it, finish the race, and they're not necessarily in trying to win it. They might be trying to improve their time from a previous race, or just trying to do a little better than they did last time, or just again see if they can actually finish the race. It's a personal thing for them.
And that's the way we like to look at it. We like to look at it as that personal challenge. Whatever you want out of that challenge is completely up to you. You know, some people come in and they say, I just want to finish, but boy, wouldn't it be great if I could do it in under 45 minutes.
Right,
you
a personal goal on their part, right?
Yeah.
Now, do people come in with maybe different expectations than what it really is? Do they need to be educated a little bit on what it is, or maybe how difficult or not so difficult, depending on what they think in their mind about it?
Yeah, everyone's got kind of a different idea. You know, we get a lot of phone calls and emails saying, I don't think I can do this, you know, and we need to let them know, yeah, you know, you can. Again, we build everything that we can in some type of level so that everyone can do it. What's really great is coming back next year and challenging, you know, taking that personal challenge a little bit further. You know, the first year I got through it, second year I'm going to do not all the easy stuff. I'm going to try some of that middle of the road stuff. But, you know, some people don't really realize that, you know, an obstacle is really an obstacle. You know, it's like, I just thought I was going to run around stuff. No, we really build things.
Well, what does that mean by the easy stuff and maybe the middle of the road stuff? Can you make it as difficult or as easy as you want to? Can you go around an obstacle if you choose to? Or, I mean, the goal is to try to...
The goal is to try.
Yeah.
The goal is to try. But there's certain things that stop people from doing certain obstacles, whether it be their own inner fear or an inability of some kind to do that kind of an obstacle. You have a choice. There's people at those obstacles. They'll give you an alternative. It could be anywhere from, jumping jacks, push-ups, burpees, to singing happy birthday to the person behind you. I mean, it's really whatever they decide to give you. We try and keep that fun and different. But then the obstacle itself, say, the easiest one is just to take a wall, for example, a 10-foot wall.
That's the easiest one, a 10-foot wall.
That's the easiest one.
Wow.
No.
So what's the hardest one? Yeah.
Easiest one to break down.
Okay.
Would be just take that 10-foot wall. On one side, there's no help. You got to figure out the way to get over it.
Right.
Towards the middle of it, there's 1 or 2 cleats on the wall that will help you get over it. Towards the other side of it, there's actually a lattice all the way up and over to the other side. So you can climb it, scale it, or jump it.
For the people that take it very seriously, and maybe for you too, as the president and organizer of it, do you try to each year create an obstacle that's just a tiny bit more difficult than something from last year? Is there something bigger and better every year?
Yes.
Yes, there is. And sometimes maybe just more than one, right?
Yes.
So how does that, so what do you do? Do you watch a race, and you participate in it and you realize, you know what? This one here, let's double the size of this thing, or what do you do? I mean, it's you and a group of people, I guess, right?
It is. We actually go out. We just finished a race last weekend, as a matter of fact. I'm doing another one this coming weekend. So I'm out there and I'm checking out all of the races and seeing what's going on.
And you're
making
participating
sure
in them
we're
too,
participating
right?
in them. Yeah, I take a little group with me. And I want to make sure, number one, that we're up to par with everything else that's going on out there. And number two, how can we make that twist? How can we take that obstacle that everyone loves, whether it be ours or someone else's, and make it our own? One of the big things out there is carrying a sandbag. Well, we've changed that, and with the Boulder Dash, you do the Boulder Dash. You carry a boulder.
Wow.
So ours is a little bit different than someone else's. We're doing a lot more with cargo nets this year, different things with cargo nets, ladders, ropes, that kind of stuff.
That's something you think of when you think of these kind of obstacle course races. Those are involved in it somehow, right?
Somehow, some way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As difficult as you can make it, I guess, in certain cases, right?
And we're definitely going bigger this year.
Are you really?
Yeah, when you were talking about height, we're definitely going
Is that the case every year? Is it always try to get bigger, not just with participants, but just the difficulty of the course?
The difficulty and the fun factor.
Right.
And
Because you don't want to make it sound like it's just harder.
Yes,
right?
yes. I want something out there that you have to have a friend to get you through it. Whether it's someone that you brought with you or whether it's someone that is, just on the field. The first year we had telephone poles and you had to roll them from one side to the other. Well, you're not doing that alone.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Most people.
Yeah, it's a daunting task for sure, right?
Yeah, so we try and have something like that out there that you're going to absolutely need help with so that you can team up with someone else, meet a new person, and do it together.
Why don't you give a website out for people to go and learn more? We're going to take a break, but when we come back, while we're in break, I want you to give the website out.
Okay.
Which is?
Boulder-race.com. So it's BOLDRDASHRACE.com.
We'll put a graphic up on the screen too. Go check out the website. We've got a lot more to get to with Lynn Hall, so we'll be back. The big Boulder Dash race, one is coming up. She was just in, and we've got a lot more to get to, so we will. I'm Sean Murphy. This is For the Record. Stay with us. Welcome back to For the Record. I'm Sean Murphy. My guest is Lynn Hall. She's the president of Boulder Dash Race. Again, another way to describe Boulder Dash Race, we talked about the obstacles, but there are other races that exist that people might be aware of, like, what is it, Mud Ruckers or something like that, or whatever it's called.
Close.
Yeah.
There's a few out there. There's Spartan,
Okay,
Warrior Dash.
Warrior Dash, yeah.
Mud. Now you got me saying Mud Ruckers.
Yeah. It's a combination of the restaurant and the race or something,
Tough Mudder's another
Tough
big one.
Mudders, there you go. That's what it is. So that's the type of race that this is. I want you to go back in time for me, Lynn, back to the inception of the race and how it came about and what was the genesis of it.
Basically, about 4 years ago, I'm a personal trainer. I trained about 50 people, and we went out and we did one of these races in Massachusetts, and they had just come out back then. They've really only been around for about 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, they're popular on social media, which is a great way to spread the word, but
Yes.
you do see them out there. So
Yes. So we went out, we did it, we thought it was great, and on the way back, everyone just kept saying over and over and over again, we got to have this in Rhode Island, because we are your typical Rhode Islanders. We had to pack a lunch, and,
it's a small enough state where you can drive everywhere, right?
And that's what we like.
Yeah.
So everyone really just, we have to have one of these at home. And, everyone just kind of kept turning around and looking at me. And, I thought about it and I was like, hey, if you support me, I'll figure it out. And we did. And it was just me and a bunch of friends. And we had 600 people in the first year. Came back the second year, had 1,200. And this year we are already surpassing, we're doubling again between the two races.
In general, the concept is getting more popular, but it's a great deal, and especially since when they learn that it's for a good cause,
Right.
they'll get behind that too. You are a typical personal trainer because you drag your clients outside the gym. They're not, and I had a personal trainer who there's a giant hill right next to the gym. And all these facilities are inside, and he takes me outside to just run up this steep hill.
Yeah.
So that's what you do.
I'm smiling.
Yeah, because you love it, because that's perfect.
Yeah.
So we talked about who benefits from this. So the race coming up, who is the beneficiary? Who's the organization?
It's the J. Arthur Trudeau Memorial Center.
And talk about them a little bit.
They help children all the way through adulthood with physical and mental disabilities. We actually partnered with a smaller side of theirs, Pathways, last year, and that they work with autism in children. And this year, when we met again and talked to them, we really kind of wanted to bring the whole organization in. So this year, we're actually working with the whole organization, and they're helping us get volunteers. And they're going to really be a big part of the day. And we're really looking forward to raising them some money.
How does it come about what organization you decide to get behind when you want to do one of these races? How does that happen?
We have actually something right on the webpage that you can, as an organization, you can contact us. And it depends on what the organization is looking to do with us. We can take you on as a full partner, or we can take you on as an organization that's just doing a small part. And basically what we do is we look at someone and we say, okay, we're going to give you some money, and they basically recruit volunteers for the event. Trudeau Center actually wanted to come on as a full partner, so they're recruiting all of the volunteers for the event. In the past, we've done high school sports teams, we've done smaller organizations, and they'll kind of service a certain part of the event, and we donate to their cause through that.
And the race is, a big part of that,
Yes.
the part of it.
Yes.
And that's great. And that's another thing, too. We talked about the promotion of it, and social media is a big part of that, because you can have this all set up, but you need to get the word out.
Yeah.
Now, you can have your own close personal circle of friends, and word of mouth is great, but I mean, social media is just so huge now, you want to be able to take advantage of it.
Yeah, and we really do. We're on Facebook, obviously, and
It's all networking.
It's all about the networking. A lot of our gyms, we have gyms from Warwick all the way through to Westerly. And a lot of our, they're on Facebook, they're talking to their friends. And then we also have gyms that aren't necessarily associated with us, but we've got a gym that's bringing 49 people. This is, I think, either their second or third time coming, and it's a gym of all women. So, all of that networking kind of gets out there, and people, start talking about it. And that's basically how people learn about it for the most part.
I assume automatically all your clients, your personal clients as a trainer, they're automatically.
It's
like
not even a question.
There's no option. You have to do this. But I would imagine that they want to, right?
They do. I had one hold out.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, I signed her up myself.
I would. She doesn't even know she's in the race yet.
She does now.
Now, obviously, you have clients that are probably of a different fitness levels and different ability levels. So not everybody necessarily would be appropriate to participate in it, or you could say even if it's at their own pace, they could.
Yeah, I mean, I have some of my own people. Last year I had 3 women who took their time. It took them about 2 hours to do it. The average is about 45 minutes, and they said, you know what, we just want to make it to the finish line. So that's what we worked on. And this year they already did the May race. They're already signed up for September. And one of them is kind of stepping out and saying, okay, I'm going to go out and do it on my own this time. I really want to do it for time this time. So again, it's that personal thing.
Yeah, so it's about beating your last time, And if you stick at it long enough, who knows, maybe you could be in the running to really have an impressive time.
Absolutely.
Talk to me about those crazed individuals that are so insane with it and want to break Olympic records, not only the record of this boulder dash, but they're that into it.
Yeah.
I just want to understand the mindset of those people.
I don't know.
Yeah, you can't even explain it, can you?
It's just like anything else. You've got people who out there do 5Ks regularly, do marathons regularly. This is what they're doing.
They seek these things out.
They seek them out. They're looking for them. They want to find the
challenge.
hardest. They want to find. They're not looking for that fun factor that a lot of people are looking for.
Nothing fun about it.
No, they just want to go, and they have really strict techniques that they use throughout. This is how you climb a cargo net. This is how you get over this wall. This is how you do
because
that.
those are seconds that are shaved off.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's a big deal for them. And for them, all that's important is what the time is at the end of the race.
Exactly.
And whether they beat their own personal time.
Exactly.
And if there's some guy that's close to them that really annoys them or motivates them, one or the other. So yeah.
Yeah, we definitely have a few that are neck and neck. We've had in last 2 races, we have 2 guys that have been neck and neck, and I think one won each time.
Do you get anything for winning as far as a little plaque or a certificate?
Everyone that finishes gets a finisher's medal.
So you finish, you're getting a medal.
You're getting a medal. We stay
That's a
away
big
from the
deal.
prizes.
Yeah.
Because again, it's that personal thing, but also I can't be out on the mountain and say that you had a faster time, but you did the medium size side of the wall, and you did the not quite as deep part of the mud pit, or it's what you want out of it. It's not about the prize at the end.
Just describing the race as being on a mountain makes it seem like just a daunting task, just not your typical race. It's on a mountain, it's in a mud pit. Anything that's difficult, that'll be a part of this race. Right?
We're looking for it.
Yeah. You're probably out discovering new things that you can incorporate into your next race. Hey, let's make this a part of it. This is a great obstacle, right?
It's really kind of a sick thing that goes on in your head after a while when you're driving, and you go, oh, look at that. Yeah, we could do something with that.
How far ahead in advance do people know the particulars of the race as far as the length of it, the particular obstacle, something new for them to sort of kind of just let absorb into their mind before the race starts?
We can release certain things well in advance. We know that we're going to have our 8-foot wall, our 10-foot wall. We know that we're going to be doing, the biggest thing that we do at Yagu is the 100-20-foot slip and slide. Those are our
The
staples.
slip and slide is part of the race.
That
right?
is That is the best part of the race. But then there's other things that we're really, really lucky at Yagu, where we've worked with them for the past 3 years. They're kind of the home base of the race, and they let us build all summer there. So we're building and creating as the summer is going on. So some of this stuff is a surprise to us.
Oh, is that right? Yeah.
We're building it and saying, okay, this works, this doesn't work, let's tweak it here, let's change it there. So those are the surprises that we save for everyone.
Talk about Yago a little bit for a moment, just so that people can understand what that's all about.
It's the only ski area left in Rhode Island. It's quaint. It's in a small area. It's in Exeter, Rhode Island, and they've been fantastic to work with for the past few years. A lot of people in the North Kingstown, South Kingstown area, they all have ski passes. Great for the kids. They've got a snowboarding terrain.
So you could. But it gives you an opportunity to have a facility that's perfect
Exactly.
for your needs.
Well, and they have water slides, so
Yeah,
there's
so much
definitely
stuff
still
going
something
on,
for them
yeah.
to do. But yeah, it's great because there isn't anybody using the parts of the mountain that we're going to use.
Right, and the insane people.
The insane people are definitely not there.
So when it's decided that there will be a race, you got the organization that you're going to be involved with. How long does it take from start to finish to get going on it?
The Yagu race always takes longer, again, because we create there. We use that as kind of our starting point for the next race. So it's a good 6 months of building. And set up and building in and of itself is definitely, we start in like July to really start setting up the course. They're mowing it right now so that we can, it can be a little bit clearer. So it's definitely a few months of just pure setup. Because
it's not just that one race that you have to concentrate on, because there's other things down within the course of the year that you're going to be, for example, there's the kids race part of it. There's a hero challenge that we'll get into and all that stuff. So there's other things going on that you have to think about and be thinking about down the road a little bit too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And somehow you're able to pull it off, right?
Somehow, every time it happens.
One thing I wanted to ask you about a lot of these organizations that get involved with you, and this is key for a successful race, regardless of where it's at and how big or how small it is the volunteers that you can get for it. So talk about that a little bit.
Our volunteers are the greatest. It's bringing that spirit to the race. When you see someone who's tired, and just doesn't think that they can take it another step further, or someone who has a fear of, say, heights or whatever the case may be. That person that's standing there, that's kind of their lifeline at one point. May, for example, we had a woman who was climbing one of the obstacles, and she got to the end of the obstacle and she just got scared. She said, I can't make that final jump. And we had a volunteer that was standing there and literally cradled her and brought her down.
No kidding.
Wow. I mean, that's the kind, you just don't see that everywhere.
No.
You really don't. And the volunteers are just the best part of the race. They really, other than the racers themselves, they are the race. They're not only our representation, but they're there for the racers.
And it kind of can't exist without all their help.
It really can't. And most of the volunteers end up running the race as well. At the end of the day, we have a volunteer heat, and a lot of those racers, they run for free, and they get to go out there and kind of get that same feeling.
We talked a lot about people running the race, regardless of their ability level, but some people might be wondering, can kids be involved in a race?
Well, they can now.
And this is the first time for this, right?
It really is.
Yeah.
We had, when we had the May race, I kind of had an epiphany of my own, you can
While
say,
you
as
were
a
running.
mom, as I was running with my daughter. And I realized that, in year one, my son ran the race. He actually had his birthday party as
That was the race.
Yahoo.
That was the party, yeah.
That was the party. And year two, my daughter ran the race. And she was 11. She was a little younger than what you were supposed to be able to run the race. But, we broke a few rules.
You're the president.
I get to break a couple every once in a while. And year three, I thought about it, and I have a 9-year-old who is dying to do the race. He's there all day, every race. And we said, you know what, we got to do something for this. So we created a kids race.
Isn't it great that the kids would want to be involved in it, as opposed to, playing a video game? They actually want to be involved in this physical activity.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, for that. So what is the kids race? What does it entail? What do they do?
Well, it's September 14th and 15th, same as the big race, at the same place. It's at Yahoo. It's a smaller area. Yahoo being as small as it is, we don't have a lot of room to play with. So,
You would think a ski resort, you'd have a lot of room,
but not so much in Rhode Island.
Smallest state for a reason.
There
right?
you go.
Yeah.
So we did end up with ages 4 to 12 can run. Ages 4 to 8 will run with a parent on a quarter-mile track, and they'll hit about 6 obstacles, maybe 7 obstacles along the way. The older kids, the 9 to 12, will run alone. They'll go a half mile. They'll take that first quarter mile that the younger kids did. Then we add another quarter mile and about another 7 obstacles for them. So they'll get a total of about 12 to 14 obstacles.
Even at this initial point, are you getting a lot of response, a lot of interest in the kids wanting to be involved in it?
Huge response,
Yeah.
huge thank yous. We're so happy that the kids have something to do.
Well, this is the whole
it's
reason
great.
you put it together in the first place, because kids were expressing interest in wanting to be involved.
They
right?
were.
Yeah.
They were.
So
Yeah.
you pulled it together.
And it allows the entire family to come out now and have a great day.
Before we run out of time, I want to be able to touch on some other things that are important, like, for example, the Hero Challenge. What is it? Tell us about it.
Well, we did it for the first time last year, and it went over well, so we tried it again this year. And basically, we're taking notice of our first responders, police, fire, EMTs.
The basic gist is what it is. One of the important aspects of it is who it benefits, and that's the Special Olympics.
It
right?
is. It's Special Olympics of Rhode Island. That one heat. Anyone that runs in that heat, we donate $5 directly to Special Olympics. And the thing that's really special about this year is we actually have some unified racing going on in the challenge. So we have a few athletes from the Special Olympics that are going out with,
That's great, yeah.
with some other racers, and they're actually going to be out there with the heroes, and they're going to be racing.
What's the date of that?
That's the 15th.
Okay. For people who are watching and they might be teetering on whether they want to get involved in the Boulder Dash race, they're getting excited by our conversation here. What do you say to them if they're thinking, well, maybe I don't have the physical ability to be able to do it, or they're just teetering in some way? What do you say to them?
I say you have almost a month left. Get out there, start working.
Was it a good idea for them to get pre-conditioned as far as exercise goes?
It's, you need to have
Yeah.
some conditioning. You
Right.
need to have some. Don't worry about running. That's the biggest mistake everybody makes. Is I've got to go out and I can't do a 5K.
Don't think of it as a race against.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not. Go out there and have some fun. Go to your local playground. Do some push-ups. Do some pull-ups. Do some a little bit of body weight
Anything
activity. Anything physical.
yeah.
Just get out there, and come try. And if you don't like the results, then you come back the following year and make those results better.
And also know that it's for a good cause. You're helping out a good cause.
It's a great
too.
cause.
So if people want to learn more, they can go to the website. What's the website one more time?
boldr-race.com.
And for the most recent upcoming race, what's the date of it?
September 14th and September 15th.
All right. Lynn Hall, president of the Boulder Dash race, back on the show, and maybe you'll come back again for another big race that you want to promote too.
I think that'd be great.
For a great cause. Thanks for being on the show. You can watch this show and many others on our YouTube site. In the meantime, this is For the Record. I'm Sean Murphy. We will see you next time. Take care.